Hey guys, Julia here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm super excited to be setting up my beginning spreads in a brand new bullet journal for 2023. This is my 7th bullet journal, and the new setup videos are some of my favorite to not only create, but to film as well. It always just feels so refreshing with the new year on the horizon, pulling in new ideas and lessons learned from my previous journal. So yeah, I'll be taking you through the spreads I like to have set up and ready to go at the beginning of my bullet journal. Some will be focused on memory keeping, some are really functional when it comes to staying on top of the actual day-to-day planning, and some are even reusable spreads. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is my 2023 bullet journal by Citrus Book Bindery. I have another recent video going into detail about all the journals I'll be using in 2023. I'll link that for you. But opening up, you can see I already had a little fun with the inside cover. I just worked on this over the course of maybe a week or so on and off when I had a little time. And these interlocking tentacles are kind of my comfort doodle. It looks way more complicated than it actually is, which I think is my aesthetic MO, I suppose. But check out my July 2021 theme if you want to see more and get some detail on how to make this happen. But over on the other side, I'm working on a fun nameplate page. I've got a little adhesive pocket for a Polaroid, and for right now, I'm just going to print out my default profile photo, but I'm thinking I may take a photo at the beginning of the year and just pop it in there, maybe change it out with my mood throughout the year. We shall see. But around that pocket, I'm using a Tombow Furunosuke pen to draw in some more tentacles there, putting my name underneath and popping in the photo. Now, the section below is for my contact information in the very unfortunate event that I leave my journal somewhere and someone needs to get it back to me. Has this ever happened before? No, but I just have the feeling that the moment I don't add this will be the moment that I need it. So I guess here it goes. Of course, sparkle doodles, add it to everything to finish this off. All right, first spread complete, on to the next one. I'm actually not used to having this page because typically the first pages are all wonky and I just glue them together, but not in this journal. So I'm adding a small key up top for all of those basic symbols I use for planning. And I don't reference this at all, but years down the line, when things have maybe changed, I can still make sense of what's going on in here. Below that will be references to sizes I want to remember for layouts. For kind of a random example, if I like my monthly boxes to be 6 dots by 6 dots, I'll write that in here. And then over on the right, I'm bringing back the index page, which is sort of like a table of contents page. I haven't used one of these in years, but since this journal is so thick and since the pages are already numbered, I thought it would be super fitting to include it this time around. And I won't be recording every single page or even every single month on here, but I'll write in any spreads that fall out of that usual monthly, weekly, daily spreads. So another rando example, if I took notes on a presentation I attended, I can write that in here, what page it's on, and then get back to it without too much fuss. But as we get going here, I want to touch on the colors before we get into deep. So you'll see some deep purple, which I love a royal deep purple for obvious reasons, but it also matches the journal cover color. I'm also tossing in some green because I've suddenly just kind of fallen in love with the color green. So I had to document this green era. And then for the beginning spread, since there are so many of them, I like to settle on a design element that's really simple and really quick to render. So for this year, I landed on these little leaf-like shapes to sprinkle throughout. It makes me think of growth and blossoming. It just felt really refreshing, and the shape linked up really well with the little bunny I'm adding below. And that's a little nod to 2023 being the year of the rabbit. And if you've been around for a few months, you know I love the book Bunny by Mona Awad. It was my April theme this past year, so I couldn't pass up that little bit of serendipity there. Over on the left, I'm working on a quote page, and for this, the quote will be very large, very bold, and decorative as a subtle reminder to myself that it's okay to take up space, it's okay to be bold, to spread out, to make my own decisions, to have a little flair. The quote itself says, if you need something to believe in, start with yourself. So just a little bit of encouragement for myself, because self-love and self-confidence is an ongoing theme that I'm working on for myself. But using a Tombow dual brush pen for that. And for whatever reason, it felt a little odd to just write this large, but also really freeing, kind of relating to that being comfortable taking up space, I guess. So yeah, even aside from the actual act of making this, I really enjoy how it looks next to the cover page. I brought over some of the leaves and sparkles and washi, so it still feels a part of the whole. All right, on to the next spread. This is one of my favorite yearly spreads, and this one is a memory keeping one. It's my 2023 Polaroids. Right now I'm just taping off a section for some decorative borders, but for this spread, I print out a monthly Polaroid of my choice, and it's just a fun way to look back on the year. I pre-make an area for each mini Polaroid, and I do make it quite decorative because it stays rather empty for most of the year, as I'm just adding a single photo every month. In the past, I've had some issues setting up this spread. If you know, you know, right? But thank you. This year, I just used my Cricut and cut out some black rectangles that I'm just gonna glue in, and that was such a time saver. But I'm using one of my favorite gold paint pens for the month labels. Just a reminder, I do link as many supplies as I can down in the description, along with any affiliate discount codes I have as well. But yeah, flipping over, I'm putting in the last 4 months here on the left and just changing up the decorative border, putting it up top. Okay, moving along, the next page is the start of one of the most important functional planning pages I set up in my journal, the future log. And as I work on this future log header here, I do want to explain what I use these pages for any newbies in the group. So the future log is a sort of zoomed out year at a glance look at the upcoming year. So events and important dates not happening in the current month live in this future log. And as each month comes along, I set up monthly specific spreads. I flip back to the future log to grab those specific events and move them forward or migrate them into the current monthly calendar. Oh, I do have an Etsy shop. I'll link that below, but I'll be using my own mini calendar stickers for the future log pages. I do love the look of the handwritten mini calendars, but it takes way too long. Again, there's a lot of sections to set up. It's also very likely that I'm going to make a mistake and not even notice until it's super inconvenient. So mini stickers it is. I can still color on them, write on them, so it's all good. Something new I'm doing this year, and you'll see as I'm setting this up, are those little light green columns. And these will be where I put birthdays. In past setups, I would just throw birthdays in with the rest of the future dates, but that ended up getting really full really quickly. And as much as I love birthdays, they were cluttering up the space and just made referencing these pages not as ideal. But yeah, there's already so many things that I'm looking forward to in 2023. I honestly don't know if any other year has filled up the way that next year is looking. It's honestly a little wild, a little intimidating, but I am looking forward to it. I'm ready. I am excited to keep making videos and connecting with you guys on here and over on Instagram. But we're gonna fast forward through this last little section of the future log, and this next page may be a little different to see included in a future log, but it's been super helpful in my last couple of setups. So I'm including the first 6 months of 2024. No calendar, different header styles so I don't get confused. But you know when it's getting down to the end of the year, especially November, December, dates start popping up for the next year, and this just ensures that I have a place for those dates to go before I set up a new journal. So yeah, it's been very helpful, and I like to include something for the next year in my future log. The next spread has a few different sections, and this first one is the When Did I Last spread, and I'm changing up the typical layout for this one. So this section is used for tasks that aren't regular, like getting an oil change, like cleaning out the fridge, things like that. But I've got room for 9 different tasks here, and I'll just write in the date when I last did the thing, and when I do the thing again, I erase the date and put in the new date. This is the first of a few reusable sections in the setup. If you haven't seen my reusable spread video, please check that out in the cards in the description. I'll walk you through what you need, how to do it. Definitely a useful hack for a section like this, or checklists that you need to use over and over again, which I'll show you one of those in just a bit. But the next section is a new one, and it's a list of all the things that I want to do at some point. So these aren't necessarily going to be super pressing. I may have the bright idea to, I don't know, make new pillowcases or something, and maybe not this morning, maybe not next month, I don't know, but whenever I'm in the mood and have some free time, I would just go here so it doesn't slip my mind. And yeah, very simple section layout wise, just a header, a little funky border, and some check boxes. The next page is dedicated to one of my favorite things, travel. I actually ran out of room in my last journal for this section and had to make a little tip in to try to expand it. So this year, I'm just going for an entire page. But this is half memory keeping, half reference. I track any overnight trips here, where it is, what dates, and for what. My fiance and I work together and travel quite a bit for work, so there's definitely been times when we both have gone back to this spread to see when we went somewhere and for what project. I also make it fun for myself. I love flags. I love drawing flags, so I do draw in the state or country flag to the left of each entry. I'm pretty excited to show you what the 2022 version of this spread looks like in my full journal flip through coming soon. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Flipping over, we have another split spread. The first section is my admin day reusable checklist. So with work, I try to dedicate Monday mornings to admin and business related tasks. I do things like schedule invoices, record our expenses, review current projects with Cam, stuff like that. Even personal admin stuff like clearing out and organizing my downloads folder, which gets out of hand otherwise. But yeah, I don't have to remake this list every week. I just go to this page and reuse this checklist. The bottom section is going to be just for random ideas and musings I feel the need to write down. I'm leaving it pretty wide open under the header, and there's honestly not much else to it. My memory is just a little iffy, and this is just to hold on to fun ideas I may want to pursue or not, but I don't want to forget them. So that's what this section is for. And speaking of wide open, this next page is dedicated to a wide open whiteboard using that reusable spread method. I've cut out just a sheet of white printer paper and placed that under the laminate so I get that true whiteboard experience. I just use the whiteboard for like quick notes that I don't want to keep or quick math, things like that, but it does come in handy when I don't want to waste like a sheet of paper or a sticky note or something elsewhere. Okay, flipping over to the last spread I'm setting up for this video, on the left will be my period tracker. I like to use a menstrual cup for my page decoration for this tracker just because I think they're quite beautiful and I like seeing them as decoration versus something that's like disgusting or should be hidden and shoved in a drawer. So here we go. I'll just be using those mini calendar stickers again here, and we'll just mark the days that I'm on my period. It's pretty straightforward. So getting to use new paper is a trip sometimes. This paper is a touch off-white and it's uncoated, and it takes a few more seconds for some things to dry. So it's totally fine. I just didn't know that. So I had a little smudge moment in the header up there. So yeah, it's always just a bit of an adjustment moving to a new journal after using the same type of journal for a few years. And it's totally not a complaint. I just didn't know. I wish I would have tested the paper or something better before I started doing this. So it's all good. Mistakes happen though. All right, so this next section that you'll see me working on is my 2023 focuses. I don't really do any hardcore goal setting because I don't enjoy immense life pressure. And there's just so many things, so many priorities that can shift and change over a course of a year. So even if it's just semantics, I like to assign these loose focuses in 4 categories: health, art, work, and personal. Every month or two, I'll check back in and see if anything has or hasn't happened in these categories. And sometimes I'll reflect on the why. I just keep it really loose, really chill, minimal pressure here. The last section along the bottom is a things to check out section, and this is for media and product recommendations and finds that I may want to come back to. And for this layout, I'm just using a simple table. Inside of the table, I'll just record the name of the thing, what it is, a podcast, the game, a TV show, and then just a column to check off when I check that thing out, getting that last bit of decoration in there to finish it off. I will most likely skip a spread or two before starting the January spreads, just in case I want to add any other collection pages in the front of the journal. Okay, we made it. Let's flip through all of the initial spreads of this new bullet journal. Let me know if this is your first year of bullet journaling down in the comments and what you're most excited about. Also, good luck on your journey. You've got this. If this isn't your first year, let me know what your must-have spreads are for the beginning of your journal. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And if you like this video, here are a couple more I think you would enjoy.